My name's Ivor Flint and I've lived in Kensal House for over 40 years, and my connection with SPID goes back quite a few decades now. And SPID actually at the time had all of the right things in terms of their community outreach experience, and the kind of projects they were offering were in line very much with the kind of thing that we wanted. They've run all sorts of events and classes for children, for adults.
We use this building for the children. We have Filipino language school, so we do the lessons here every Sunday.
But also those theatre projects have also gained a lot of traction in the press, and I believe won quite a few awards actually, which is not something that you can say, I think, probably for your average housing estate.
Today I think I've seen the culmination of all those years of work, and it was terrific. Well done, everybody. Yeah.
SPID brought in funding for heating equipment and for drama. Principally the idea was to actually keep it within the original ethos of Kensal House, to keep it as a community space, an active community space. Amongst the many positive things SPID have done, they've offered a lot of young people opportunities that they probably wouldn't have had if we not had that space, not just to our residents but also to the wider community.
If this was taken away, I would not be happy. I'd probably start a protest to bring it back, because I really like this place. It's fun, I get to meet new people. I just like coming here.
Solidarity means to me, it means everyone from all walks of life coming together and acknowledging their differences.
It means to me like community and all that, so everyone gets together and helps each other out, especially us as we're young. We get to show the old people, well not the old people, the older generation, what we do and what we can do to help.
The message of the burning tower is that people died not so much because of cladding or faulty fridges, but because they were ignored, and what we were doing was giving them a voice.
Do tell us what you've been doing. If you walk around Lancaster West and Grenfell Tower, the graffiti is very telling. You'll see these homemade logos everywhere. Justice for Grenfell, love Grenfell, Grenfell community, always with a big heart. Love is what survives. We have to listen to and learn from and remember that love. You cannot persist ignoring people if you understand their stories.
Historically, this space underneath here has been neglected quite badly for a number of years, and SPID have worked very hard to keep it as a functioning space and put a lot of investment in it.
Unfortunately, the community rooms downstairs have actually suffered very badly from leaks, and there's been decades of poor maintenance and poor upkeep. SPID have kept on top of it and done the very best they could, but this was really just as a stopgap until we were able to raise sufficient money to actually have the job done properly. But of course this is dependent on making sure that everything above SPID is actually dry and secure and safe, and there is no water ingress from above, no water ingress from the roof, and no sewage leaks that are coming from some of the flats where there's been blockages, because that obviously will penetrate through down into the building, down into the basement, and come into the floor area that's occupied by SPID, which we can't really have. The leaks have been going on for a very long time, years actually, and sometimes it's meant that the space has been unusable because someone's had to go in and clear up the leaks, and they have been big. We're talking big floods here.
Just atrocious negligence on behalf of the landlord.
The windows over here are full of broken glass, full of mould.
The Kensal House community rooms are badly in need of some TLC.
This is our backstage area, and at the moment it's really underused. You can see it's really cold, it doesn't have proper flooring.
They are at best dilapidated and at worst dangerous.
You can see that the leak is coming in really close to the light fitting, which makes it extra high risk.
I think in the end of the day it's just bad maintenance. If they don't keep up to date with everything and do the little things, then they get to be in bigger problems. So come and fix the problems when they need to be done. And like, you know, this building is an old building, so it does need, and to blame it on being listed is a rubbish excuse.
As residents of flat 50 Kensal House, the council's negligence has caused my husband and I to lose the rights to quiet enjoyment of our flat. Having studied law in this country, I know my rights. The RBKC have ignored my husband's needs as a person on dialysis and have made his health worse by failing to fulfill their landlord's duties.
Here we are again. Flooding at Kensal House. Regular occurrence. So, in doubt as to how deep that is. Pretty deep.
This is my daughter's room. She sleeps with no heating, don't know how she does that, and with the window open. And this is her window every morning, a puddle. Horrible mould everywhere. And then in your ceiling, look, more mould.
Up above they had floods to the point that it's uninhabitable.
Look at this fucking shit. So to get an idea of the movement, look at that. We've got to put bags on it. This is just...
That should be love, isn't it? For 6 years, they have made me homeless and not helped in the flooding. Now the system is working a little, but the issue for flooding has not been sorted. The problem is that living here is living in danger.
We had a flood about 4 months ago.
Well, because of electricity and water damage don't go, it would essentially just ruin everything.
So that's why they're having that leakage downstairs. Now all this, the water, when it flooded, it pulled everything out. So this is all like hazards, you know, all around the whole place, right? And then when the water came from where I showed you, that's where it got flooded to the extent that it was pouring out.
Just want to show you my son's room, as you can see on his curtains, that I'm going to take down now and wash because they're disgusting with mould.
Over here as well. Coming from behind that light, there's some drip marks on it.
I'm one of several Kensal House resident association members who sit on SPID's board. No. RBKC have promised they will bring Kensal House estate up to standard by the end of SPID's refurbishment. We must all stand together and stand firm now, or the council will never do their job. We all need new windows, pipes and a roof that is fit for purpose. We all have suffered in silence for too long.
It's as if the building is bleeding internally. And it's come to a point where this listed building that they're employed and have an obligation to keep to standard is not being dealt with, it's being neglected.
They don't know how to help people who are suffering from flooding to be surviving through it and living through it, which is not a condition that they should be doing.
I'm going to change my son's bed, turn the mattress, and look, yeah, that is mould on his mattress where he sleeps,
at night. This bed is not that old. Maybe a year, 2 years maximum that we've had this bed. So now, yes, another expense, as well as blinds, new curtains, new everything.
You can see it dripping, the water. They've even got a dehumidifier on, which consumes a lot of electricity.
Yeah, people with the water used to come down the pipe and it used to come up my bath, my sink, in the kitchen, and everything used to come up, like food, fat, you name it. And one time I had 2 mini floods in my house as well, but the person above me is getting it now. The flat above me, he gets out of backwash, like for 4 years. He's even coming into the fucking bathroom.
Here and this other side there.
I do wish they'd fix this dampness in the flats. It is dreadful and dangerous. Well, it is dangerous, isn't it? Water coming down from the roof, down to the ground.
Because the longer obviously you leave it, the more damage it's going to cause, and that means the more you've got to spend fixing the damage. So I think it will be prudent to actually do a really good job, fix the roof now. Otherwise, it would just mean that you'd have a wonderful job, a wonderful new space, and then the water comes all the way through, and we're back to where we started again, and that's an incredible waste of money.
So the repairs have to be completed, otherwise we could lose the funding, and that's going to have a catastrophic effect on the neighbourhood, Kensal House, Spid, and the residents. It's just imperative that the leaks are fixed. Long overdue.
Why has nothing been done about this? Why has this listed building been left to fall apart into this repair?
Infrastructure has been neglected for years at Kensal House, and it is deeply unfair to expect residents to live in such conditions. We urge the council to bring their capital works programme forward and to eradicate damp and leaks, and are calling for compensation for all those affected.
Right, this is what we have to put up with sometimes. To show you, you can put water in the sink. In a couple of seconds, go over to the bar. Watch it bubble up. You see that? All the shit. Sorry, excuse my language. All flowing up from here.
They're not living, they're existing. They're existing in somewhere that was supposed to be their home. We're going to keep going and we're going to keep fighting.
Well, tonight, residents at Kensal House, a block of flats near Grenfell, have decided they're going to do something about it. They're planning to take the Kensington and Chelsea Borough Council to court for neglect over the leaks and mould in their properties. Carolyn Sim went to meet them.
In every corner of this bedroom, there's mould. The tenant who lives here sleeps right next to it. She didn't want to appear on camera, but wanted people to see this. In another flat, leaky windows are the problem. Every time it rains, water gushes in and black mould grows.
Do you worry every time it rains heavily?
Yeah, of course I worry about, because
It's wet everything, you know, outside the and floor, everything.
For years, people living in Kensal House have complained about their living conditions. The theatre group Spid rents the basement of the building. They're so fed up with the lack of maintenance, they're having to use their own funds to put things right. Now, together with tenants, they're threatening the council with legal action.
We brought in this money to bring this community space that they've neglected up to standard, and they couldn't even fix the leaks by August 21 when they promised. We waited and waited and waited, and in the end we had to start in June 22.
We're fighting so hard to restore it and bring it back to its former glory, and also to help residents have a home that actually is worth living in instead of just existing in.
Tomorrow, solicitors will send a letter to the council outlining the tenants' demands for repairs and compensation. They're asking for a swift response.
We could bring forward the window works and do everything that we can to get the pipes in as good a shape as we can.
As tenants of Kensal House, we are united in calling on our landlord to bring forward the capital works programme to meet the long neglected statutory duties by replacing windows, lead pipes, stack pipes, roof waterproofing and installing a lift for Disability Discrimination Act compliance with no costs passed on. We also stand together in demanding proportionate compensation regarding repair and safety failures.
It's vital that our landlords stop delaying Spid's refurbishment and acts now to bring the estate up to standards.